Welcome, I'm your host, Last Rights. Today I want to cover some major changes to the Blood Surge Summoner, as well as how to optimize your progression from level 50 to 100. So this portion will be for those who just started playing. This is their first character. They have no renown. This is the order that I want you to take your skills in and how you'll be the most effective early on. 1 point into hemorrhage. This will generate us our essence and blood orbs. This will benefit us whenever we pick up a blood orb for 2 additional essence for the next cast of hemorrhage. 1.6% base life is fortify each time we use hemorrhage. This is going to help with our overpower damage. Overpower damage will be our primary method of dealing damage, so we go into Blood Surge. This is what will unlock overpower damage for us. We're going to get the healing benefit from enhancement on it. And then Paranormal Blood Surge, this will allow us to get those 5 stacks up, and the 6th hit from this will guarantee us an overpower. And again, that Fortify will benefit the damage of the overpowers from it. We want to get all 5 points into this after we've gotten the enhancements. Then we're going to up our Essence by 9 using Unliving Energy so that we can cast more Blood Surges. 1 into Blood Mist. That's our emergency. We're stuck in a pack of monsters. They're going to kill us. We push that. Skeletal Warrior Mastery. Max this out. And we're going to use the skeleton skill in order to consume corpses for us, which will generate us essence through Grim Harvest. So whenever you hover over a skeleton or a corpse on the ground and cast your skeleton ability, it will consume the corpse and generate us essence. We're going to do Death's Embrace. That's going to give us damage reduction when we're close, and we will deal extra damage to them when we're close. Skeletal Mastery, because we're using skeletons. Decrepify. Then from here, we want Necrotic Carapace. This is so that when we have skeletons generating corpses, they generate us Fortify, and Fortify makes us do more damage. Healing. We're not going to take this yet, the Blood Orbs healing our minions. We're going to go for extra damage from Coalesce Blood for our blood skills. We're going to do Tides of Blood so that those overpowers from Blood Surge hit harder. Then we want our Golem maxed out. Rathma's Vigor. This is going to allow us to have another guaranteed overpower with our Blood Surge every 15 seconds. So this is a big damage increase, and it gives us 10% more life. The more life you have and the more Fortify you have, the more damage your overpowers do. We want to put 1 point into these, and then you're going to max these 2 out. And from that point, you are now at the limit of what you will get before Renowned. So by completing missions in the world and aspects of the game, you will gain Renowned. Your dungeons, your side quests, all of that, the Altars of Lilith, those are going to progress your Renowned. So from here, once your Renowned is maxed out, you're going to want to start to add things. Your Transfusion, Drain Vitality so that hitting monsters will have a chance to fortify you for 8% of your life. Your minions cannot lose more than X amount of damage. And then I would put this one up to the maximum. Slowly increase this one. That way they're not as easy to die. And from here, you're going to want to put another point into the cost of your Blood Surge. But if you later in the game find an item like a helmet that gives you Decrepify, you can take that point out and put that in here. If you find an item like pants that give you Blood Mist, take that out, put it in here. That way you're getting your Blood Mist from your pants and you're getting your Decrepify from your helmet. So that's the way that you can achieve this point in the game. Okay, for those of you starting out and don't know what minions to go with for this build, you want to go with Reapers, and we want the Reapers have a 15% chance to carve the flesh off enemies, forming a corpse. This will greatly benefit from attack speed on your minions, and remember they also gain 30% of any attack speed you have on your character. So minion attack speed and your own attack speed will benefit how often this happens. And the reason we want it to happen is because when they form a corpse, we get 6% of our life as Fortify. And Fortify generates us additional damage with our overpowers. If we're fully fortified, we do way more damage with our overpowers. So we want to have this help us maintain that. Also, that gives us more corpses to consume to generate blood orbs, which are very strong in the end game portion of this build. Next, we want cold mages, and we want their first option. Your cold mages damage will generate 2 essence. So anytime they cast their attack, you will generate 2 more additional essence. So go with this on your cold mages. It's also going to chill monsters and help you crowd control and get into position to hit them with your blood surge and kill them. Very, very helpful. And for hardcore, I would suggest going with the blood golem to absorb 15% of the damage you take. However, if you're on softcore, there's nothing wrong with going with either the vulnerable slam. The stun is what we're after here. Vulnerable will not benefit our overpowers. Or you could go with shedding a corpse from our bone golem. So for hardcore though, I would suggest bone golem taking 15% of the damage you would take. Softcore, you could either do extra corpses for generating fortify and having corpses to consume and create blood orbs for you. Or you can go for the slam to stun things and make them vulnerable. Your minions will do more damage to vulnerable targets, but I would suggest for hardcore players, definitely stick with the blood golem. 15% damage you take absorbed. Okay, so late game now, we're going to use Decompose. Now, you have to meet 2 requirements before this is viable. So before you have these, run Hemorrhage with the Fortify enhancement. But once you have Necrotic Carapace and this Codex or Legendary Power, you can get it up to 20 on a Legendary Power, but it is a Codex that you can use right here, Flesh Rending Aspect. As long as you have this from the Deepwood dungeon, or you run into one that's a legendary power that's even better. But as long as you have that codex and you're high enough level to have necrotic carapace, swap over to Decompose. This way we don't need potent blood anymore for blood orbs giving us essence. Spawning corpses with Decompose will give us a ton of essence. And it gives about the same generating of essence, because only Hemorrhage can be more if you get more attack speed, but that 10 to 20 additional is going to put it over the edge to where Hemorrhage can't keep up. So also, if you're decomposing something and it dies, say your minions finish it off with Ring of Mendelin proccing, you're getting another 10. So Decompose is a great boost to our essence generation, as well as the big benefit is it will never proc Rathma's Vigor. Hemorrhage will proc Rathma's Vigor and waste that overpower. So all of our overpowers will be solely triggered by Blood Surge now. So it will take away that problem and allow for more Blood Surge overpowers and no accidental Hemorrhage overpowers, which are very weak compared to the big AoE from Blood Surge. Plus, Blood Surge with Death Speakers is going to proc on our skeletons, thus multiplying our damage massively and scaling up our overpower damage that way. Okay, before we get started, I want to throw a little shout out to SLJM8D in the Discord. He took the original board, made it more efficient to get the same stuff in a more efficient manner where we save 1 point as well as have a lower bonus cost for our final node here at the end of the board. So, very well done. Thanks for taking the time to do that. And on to the first board. So our 50 to 75 board, we want to go to the right, grab all the magics and rare node there. Coming up, grab our glyph socket. Now, if you don't have dominate, don't put anything over here yet. But if you do have dominate already, immediately activate these 5. Okay? And it's okay if you don't have dominate yet, you didn't get lucky enough to find it, just go up the right, and as soon as you find dominate while you're climbing, stop whatever you're doing, wherever you may be, and fill out these 5. Okay, so we keep going. Attach bloodbath board. We're going to get the damage and fortify gen. Come up to the right, grabbing bloodbath. 50% multiplier to our overpower damage. This is huge for one-shotting crowds and clearing areas of white mobs. Then we're going to head on over and attach bone graft. Bone graft is typically for bone skills, but in this case, we're using it for essence on kill. There's going to be 4 essence on kill and up to 32 additional essence if you meet the bonus requirements. 24 if you do not have enough willpower. That's okay. We'll come on up. We're going to grab this for life and damage. More life. And then we're going to make a beeline to the right here. We want to grab all of the intel that we need to get to 40. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that will activate Blood Drinker. So now we will have Blood Orbs fortifying us, even with a radius of 1. Now, you want to be this whole time leveling your glyphs in Nightmare Dungeons. Start with Dominate. Get Dominate to 15 and stop. Then, as you climb up here and go into this board, you're going to be leveling up Dead Razor. Get that to 15 and stop. After Dead Razor, level up Blood Drinker to 15 and stop. Even if you don't have Mage yet in your board, the Mage glyph, level up Mage to 15 and stop. Then go back to leveling Dominate. So once you've done that, you're going to have increased the radius on your glyphs. When the radius has increased on your Dominate, you're going to start picking up all of the willpower that you can get within range. So you're going to come over and grab all of this as well as grabbing this willpower over here, because it's going to add 22.5% overpower damage per 5 points of willpower within range. So these will be like 30, and these will be 22 and a half, 22 and a half, 22 and a half. That's a lot of overpower damage. So immediately level up your Dominate to 15. Then we want Dead Razor up to 15. And this is going to change the layout. So now we have this intelligence we don't need. We put it here. So then we're going to level up Blood Drinker to 15. And that's going to no longer need this. We have these 3 now. And this 4th one, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we have the 3 most important glyphs at 15. We can start leveling up Mage while we do Nightmare Dungeons and level up our character. Now, where should the points go as you level up towards that 89? We're going to get stuff like damage while healthy, fortified generation, damage over time reduction, more damage while fortified. We'll be getting that last. And at that point, we are going to have a pretty close point to 89. We may be able to get a few more nodes. And then once you have all this stuff within Dead Razor, because it's amplified by the Dead Razor glyph, get the stuff in Dead Razor's range first. Then we can come up, grab some minion attack speed and damage. And by this point, you should be getting close to 89. If you do have some Renowned and you have some points left over, go ahead and grab the Skeletal Warrior stuff just to use up those points until you're 89. You need to wait until you're 89 to convert to the new board, because you need enough points to just be able to refund and move things around. So fill this board out like you see it here to this point before you convert at level 89 to the new board, which is this board. But we will cover that in the next portion. So now that we have our level 75 board filled out to the point where we're level 89, we're going to convert to the 89 board, which looks like this. So we're going to go from this to this, and I want to show you how to do it in the game so it is a little more seamless without any trial and error. So first we need to refund all of our bone graft. We're going to refund and remove the bone graft board. We remove it. Now, in its place, we want to put blood begets blood first. We need to put blood begets blood into its place first, and then we are going to apply the points we need to get the glyph back into place. So we have blood drinker that's going here now. So blood drinker was here. We're going to remove it. We're going to put blood drinker here now. So our blood drinker should be 15 by this point, like I was saying prior. We need to be leveling our glyphs up as we get higher in level. We need higher level glyphs. So we should be a minimum of 15 at this point, ideally higher than that. Then we're going to put those two in for intelligence. Now our blood drinker has been activated, and we will get fortified from blood orbs, and all of this will be getting amplified significantly. So from here, we want to grab this overpower damage over here. There's quite a bit of it, so we want to make sure that we get that into our build as early as possible, and that's the important stuff here. Now, to get up to our bone graft, we're probably going to have to sacrifice some of this extra stuff we had points into just in the meantime. I would get rid of the damage, but not the attack speed on our minion stuff here. We're going to come up, make a right turn, and we're going to add bone graft here. We need to rotate it, and that way our essence on kill is right there. We're going to come in, go up, drop in here, and grab all that essence on kill. And there we go. We got extra essence now and essence on kill, and we are roughly level 89 at this point. You may have to refund some of this damage while fortified, damage while healthy. I would get rid of the damage while fortified first. That's not as important, so we are going to give some of that up. Maybe a little bit of fortified generation, damage reduction over time if you're on softcore, damage while healthy if you have to. And we want to put our mage, which should also be 15, into this socket. So now, with mage at level 15, that's going to be 3 intelligence, 4 intelligence nodes, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mage is activated. This will keep your mages alive. Dead Razor will keep all of your minions alive. And we want the attack speed for our mages to generate us more essence. So this will be the converted layout to get us to the 89 new board configuration, and this will continue into the endgame board, which we'll cover next. Okay, so progressing from 89 to 100 is going to be more so about what order do we do things in, so how we can get from here to here. So what I want you to do first is I want you to attach your minion attack speed as fast as possible. If at 89 you have enough left over because you're renowned to get attack speed on your minions first, get that ahead of time. Okay, this is very important to our build. More minion attack speed means more essence generation from our mages. Second thing that I would go for is filling out your damage while healthy and any generation that you may have left on the board. And then damage while fortified. You're investing in your character, essentially your damage. And then damage taken over time reduction. This is important in hardcore. Prioritize that kind of thing in hardcore. And then from here, we can start to go over and get blood begets blood. And that's going to give us a nice boost whenever we pick up blood orbs. Then you can fill out your other damage while from blood orbs. Damage bonus from blood orbs. So at that point, now you have gotten quite a bit towards the completion here. So we're going to add some intelligence to our mages to make them do more damage. And that's where our mages will be maxed out at this point. And from here, there's still a few things we can get to invest in our minions. Minion damage, a little more minion damage reduction. If you are having trouble with your minions surviving, you can get this earlier. This will be amplified by Dead Razor. And this whole time, remember, I can't emphasize this enough, how important it is that you level your glyphs up to 15 immediately and then start taking Dominate to 21. And then you're going to want to max out Dead Razor to 21, which this only goes to 20. They are actually 21 is the max level of glyphs. And then you're going to want to max out your Blood Drinker for more overpower damage. This will amplify these overpower damage nodes. And then you're going to want to max out Mage. So that's how you're going to get to this final point where all of your glyphs are now at level 21. So again, the order: Dominate, Dead Razor, Blood Drinker, Mage. That's top priority to minimum priority. Get that done as early as possible. It's going to make your character way stronger. Now we still got 11 points to go. So there's a few things that we can do to make our character stronger. I would get more survivability and damage for your warriors. Go ahead and pick all of that up. And now we've left with 1 point. 1 point's left. We can go and get some extra healing. That will also be amplified by Blood Drinker. So this will help you and your minions heal from blood orbs. Besides, we're getting so many blood orbs and benefiting from blood orbs and targeting, picking up blood orbs for damage. So, and it's fortifying us. So that's one of the last things that you can add to your character to add some value on the board. And at this point, your character is maxed out at level 100 and as strong as it gets. Okay, so this is the gear I'm currently running at level 92. Keep in mind, your legendary powers can be in a different slot as long as you're achieving the same legendary powers. You can alternate and use different legendary powers, but your results may vary. There are a lot of ways to build this character, and any character really, so this is just what I am using for my hardcore version. So, with your helmet, I would say prioritize life and getting Decrepify. And then on top of it, any additional stats you can get will be great. Preferably all stat. On any item that you have that has stats on it, try to aim for all stats. It's not always doable to get it, but you know, it's always the ideal situation. I have maximum skeletal mages on my helmet. My chest, I want damage reduction, tons of life, and all stat. This chest is pretty much a ideal scenario. So if you can get something like this in hardcore, this is your best friend right here. I want the magic bubble so that when I screw up and step in something that's going to kill me, I get a bubble instead and I'm invincible for 5 seconds. So this is a good lifesaver. I highly recommend getting the bubble. A lot of people prefer to run the barrier. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like the barrier, go for it. I just prefer the bubble because it pops up when it needs to for me automatically. For my gloves, I'm running overpower damage, all stat, extra ranks to blood surge, and then the attack speed, half of that, or I'm sorry, 30% of that is going to my minions. So it's not the best attack speed roll, but it's attack speed nonetheless, which makes my mages cast faster and makes my blood surges cast faster. As far as the power, I'm going with the cold mages to make their blizzard strong, or make them have a blizzard, and I want as high of a number there as possible. Keep in mind, this is a scaling aspect. An item at level 20 is not going to do 2,400 damage. A item at 60 is not even going to. So the higher your level that you find the item at, with the higher item power, the higher that number can be, because it is a scaling legendary power. It has a damage number. So keep that in mind. Those are scaling aspects. For my pants, I'm going with damage reduction from close and distant. That way I get really high values of damage reduction. I want Blood Mist so I don't have to use the skill point on Blood Mist. I can get level 4 for free. and save the points. For my other ideal stat on here is life. Remember, I'm getting all this life because life equals the same amount in Fortify, and it all gets applied to my overpower damage. Consuming a corpse has a 30% chance to spawn a blood orb. This is a must on this build. This is non-negotiable. Go with that. Get that on something as soon as you can, and it will serve you well. All of my gems in my armor pieces are sapphires for damage reduction while fortified. For my boots, we are going for all stat. Fortify generation's great. If you can get another form of damage reduction, that would be even better. Slow duration reduction. This is not a bad thing to have, but there are other options. If you can find something like another form of damage reduction, this would be a good place to put that. And then damage reduction while injured. This is a really good mod to have in hardcore. When you get on low health, it makes it so hard for them to kill you. So, and you can get very high percentages of it. Very, very high. And this pair of boots is not even that high of an item power. These need replaced as soon as possible. And I'm going with max skeletal warriors on this one. That means more corpses, so they're proccing my necrotic carapace way more often, making me have a higher rate of gaining fortify. Okay, for the weapons, I want my blood surge echoes on a short delay, and any percent of that is fine. If you just have to use the codex, that's fine, but this is a must have, so make sure you get this. Life on kill is why I went with a scythe. Damage to close enemies, damage to stun enemies, those benefit my minions. 30% of that goes to my minions, so that's a 10% for both of those for my minions. And damage to distant enemies will benefit my mages because they're usually casting from a distance. The overpower damage is for me, and I'm running a ruby for more overpower damage. Same ruby in my offhand. I want cooldown reduction. This is going to reset blood mist faster. And I want the essence cost reduction because this is going to make it so that my blood surge costs less. Max minion life, that's just great to keep your minions alive. Fortify generation because we need fortify for maximum overpower damage output. And then this one's important as well. Minions gaining attack speed. So this is going to allow your mages to generate more essence. That 2 essence per hit that they generate, they're going to get up to 42% attack speed increase. So this is great for when you're down to a single target and they're really requiring a lot of essence because you have to hit them multiple times. For our ring, with the Decompose version of the build, you're going to need the aspect here that it can be a codex as well. You can get this off your codex very easily, flesh rending aspect, and put that on a ring. And then if you have necrotic carapace, which you probably do at that point, if you're putting legendary aspects on stuff, you can go ahead and switch over to your Decompose, like I showed earlier. Then we want Ring of Mendelin. Oh, and on this ring, lucky hit chance is preferred. Damage to injured enemies will help your minions. Tons of life. You can get over 1,000 life on a ring. So get that extra life. And damage to stun enemies. I don't use stun anymore, so I do want to replace this ring at some point, but it's hard to replace 1,100 life. So room to upgrade here. But that lucky hit chance is for this ring, which also has lucky hit chance on it. I want to increase the rate at which I proc this because that is a huge damage boost for my minions. Minion attack speed, that's more essence from my mages. Minion life, it keeps them alive. So this is a great one. We want to go with skulls in all of our jewelry for extra armor. It scales better in the late game. For our amulet, we're going with Death Speaker's Pendant. And this is going to help us with more overpower damage, more blood skill damage. It gives our minions a little bit of damage. And the Coalesced Blood is just more blood skill damage as well. So The reason for this item is all of our minions will land in overpower whenever we land in overpower. So they won't hit very hard when we don't overpower, but when we do, they're going to hit for over 100,000 damage each. So up to 200,000 damage I've seen. So it can vary on how hard they hit, but you're going to see 100k plus when you're fortified. Pretty much at a minimum. So very, very powerful amulet. Best in slot amulet for us. And best in slot ring for Ring of Mendelin. So these are a must. Definitely get those. Thanks for watching. You can find the links to all 3 of the level 75, 89, and 100 build guides below, as well as our Discord. And I'll see you guys next time.